Gosh, what an absolutely massive play to start the game.
He gets rid of the save line. One hit KO.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Fight for First. I got a lot of things to talk about, so let me just delve into it really quick. First of all, I promised you guys a Trick Room team. The reason I haven't posted a Fight for First in 4 or 5 days is because the Trick Room team that I wanted to run and I was running was so bad. It was so bad, and I'm not going to play you guys a team that sucks. So I actually had to go back to the drawing board. This team got me to 1700 in 21 games, 18-3. It's a good team, and it's going to be a team that's not like, it's kind of like Gavin's. I'm going to talk about that in a second as I get into the battle itself, but it's also something that I think has potential and something that you could work off of. And as I mentioned in my last post of the day, there's only a handful of Trick Room teams, full hardcore Trick Room team modes that are viable right now, in my opinion, in my strong opinion. And so I want to get into that as we're getting into that, but that's why, and I'm not going to give you something that sucked. Spent 4 or 5 hours yesterday playing the team to make sure that it was good, and I spent many hours playing the other version of the team, and it just was not going to work no matter what. And so I finally came to this, and I'm glad we got that. That's first. Second, recently we've had so much Patreon success in this last round of tournaments. I really want to just give some shout outs off the top of my head. I do know that a couple, it was Magikarp and Scotty Spandex. They were first and second seed at the MSS Midseason Showdown in Minnesota, I think it was. They're first and second seed going into Top Cut. That's awesome. That's absolutely crazy. Uncle Lou, I think he was 5th seed going into Top Cut at Georgia Regionals, using a core of the team that I posted. He switched one of the Pokemon around, maybe some spreads and stuff, but honestly, what I want to say, it's not like, oh, good job, Alex, thanks for getting on the team. Not at all. I really want everyone to do that. I think that's awesome. I think the more Patreon people we can get in Top Cut and everything else, the better. It's just super hype hearing that kind of success from you guys, whether you use my team or not. I don't care whether you use my team or not to get there. Hearing you guys do that is what's incredible. And so that got me thinking, how can I get back the quality that I know that people need in order to achieve these kinds of results, because that's what you guys want. You guys want Top Cut. You want to win. And so I was really excited to roll out today the Patreon Yellow Team Compendium. So if you're in Yellow, you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. Go seriously look at it. Streams are going to be, I'm going to be increasing the amount of Patreon streams, and those are going to be always first and foremost focused on helping quick team issues. And like, if you need here's a team, give me quick advice, kind of a thing. The compendium is a deeper way for me to say, here's your team. Now I know every single thing about the team. Here's how you're really not working, and here's how we can really improve it. And it's going to be the kind of thing where you sit down, you focus on it, you're going to get better for sure. You should get better no matter what if you practice, but this is the directed kind of practice that you really should be using if you really want to achieve high results. And so if you have quick questions, if you're playing around with something funky, you just want to talk about it, come to stream for that. Patreon stream, of course. That's what that's for. And that's why I'm going to be increasing the amount of time that I do that per week. So I'm going to make sure that happens. And I'm going to give more opportunities for people in different time zones to make it. And then if you really want serious team help, because I get half the time I get questions, which are just fantastic, and they help me learn the game even more. And you're going to see part of that actually in this team, which I really love. I love that feedback that I get from when people are just asking me questions. I'm sitting here trying to answer them, and all of a sudden I learn something, and that's incredible. But at the same time, this is going to give me the kind of information I learned to streamline the process and to help the people who want the help the most. So, really excited about that. General team questions, short little things. Here's my team, whatever. We can do that on stream. I'm going to make those a little bit faster than they were last week. They were a little too long. I want to get through more people. So I'm going to work on a way of streamlining that as well. But the yellow thing, if it seems a little daunting, don't think it's daunting. Take your time with it. I'm here to help you. At the same time, this is how I know you're taking the game seriously. Just wanted to say that just in case, the people who haven't seen the post yet in yellow. There you go. Should be really exciting. It's a brainchild of mine I've been working on for a while. All week long, actually. And so every piece of information on there is really vital, and I'm really thinking we're going to see high results. Sorry about that. That's a long intro, but I did want to say it. This team, Trick Room, I promised you Trick Room. You're going to see part of what looks like Gavin's team, and yeah, it is. The key here is, and actually even Gavin's no longer running Trick Room, Gigalith's rise is becoming very troublesome for a lot of Trick Room. In fact, I played a couple patrons while we're waiting for some of the PCS tournaments to conclude, and on stream, and they were like, oh, let's see what you got. And then I'd play him, and I threw together a really shitty Gigalith team. It was actually BMN's team. He's a different Patreon. I edited it a little bit, and then I brought it, and I cleaned up house a couple times. Pretty good. And it's not their fault. It's the fact that Gigalith is just so strong in the metagame right now. And so dealing with Gigalith in a hard Trick Room mode is incredibly difficult, and there are really only a few choices. So I'm going to start getting into this. Hariyama is one. It can take a good rock hit, of course. It's a fighting type. Mudsdale's another one. You get the stamina boosts. And honestly, Mudsdale, oh my god, the season just reset, huh? I literally streamed yesterday so I could be at 1700 for this. Fuck everything. With a huge cactus. Like the biggest cactus. I was going to spend all day recording today before it reset. I thought it was going to reset tomorrow. It probably reset like an hour ago. Well, okay. At the same time, everyone we face now could be 1,800 players, so we don't know. The way that Trick Room really works, and with Gavin, if you came to the little info session I had with Gavin, or you watched the VOD, getting up Trick Room is essential in a hard Trick Room team. And to guarantee that, Porygon 2 is easily the best Trick Room setter. Oranguru really sits on the field, does not a whole lot of damage. It really does not. The Instruct just, it's so easy to shut down. And so it's not very reliable. And so on a Trick Room team, you really want one of these harder Trick Roomers. Now, Hariyama, it's almost always accompanies Porygon on a hard Trick Room team or something with Fake Out that can do a lot of damage and become a threat immediately. You want people to want to kill it because you actually, your huge hard hitters, Torkoal in this case, for example, are in the back. Okay, so I'm gonna look there. I'm gonna bring Torkoal, and I'll probably bring I'll bring Mudsdale maybe. No, should I bring Bulu or Mudsdale? They're both pretty decent. I'll bring Mudsdale just in case the fire thing. And so the only way to really the biggest way for people to stop Hariyama Porygon is with Tapu Lele, and that's why Gavin ran the Mimikyu. And I was looking for different options. Your other option really is a Focus Sash Smeargle, because you can lead that and it can still cause a lot of damage if you're using Endeavor with it, and you can still become a threat on the field. So if you're running an Endeavor, Follow Me, not Fake Out, because you're going to run, if you can Fake Out, you're going to use Hariyama for it. Follow Me, you know, do you want a Wide Guard there? What do you want? But you want Endeavor, do you want Spore if you have room? But besides that, nothing else is going to provide kind of this immediate threat that needs to be on the field for this to make sense. Okay, because as soon as Trick Room's up right now, Hariyama is causing as much threat as anything. This thing can one-shot a Garchomp. It can one-shot a lot of things, depending on the moveset. If I had Poison Jab, you know, or whatever, I can, depending on what moves I have, I can KO a lot of stuff. And it's slow. And it deals with Gigalith. It's just hands down, slam dunk, really good. As a Pokemon itself, whether you're in Trick Room or not. Okay? Porygon with the coverage of the Ice Beam with all these, you know, dragon shit going around. Really, really good. And then you're gonna have this Fake Out here, and you want to become a threat, and so that's why the Flame Orb's good. And then if they kill you, that's when you get your real powerhouses in. So the team itself, as far as compositionally goes, if you want to run hard Trick Room, it's almost gotta be some kind of Hariyama Porygon 2 combo. And I really tried to work around that because I really wanted to bring something fresh. And the more I did that, the more I found out that it's just not it's just not fucking good. It's fucking so bad. So now immediately I want him to try to kill, you know, my my stuff. I don't know. Honestly, I'm thinking about doing, because I could Heavy Slam into Coco, and I don't know what kind of damage that does. It does. I don't think it picks it up from here, which is a problem. It's not actually a problem, because I actually have a good switch in with Mudsdale right now. I could probably get a free stamina boost. Yeah, I could potentially get it, but I think if I'm him, I might even just try to like Z-move or something. I'm just going to go to Mudsdale. There's really no harm in it. I'm going to get the boosts. I am Leftovers, and the Leftovers combination with Stamina and Bulu's Grassy Terrain is just amazing. It's freaking amazing. The last slot on the Horsey can be anything. You can run Roar there to roar out other Trick Room setters if it's going to bother, you know, your team. I did think he was going to Protect, which is why we did this, and this is the exact reason I did this for that one play. That's going to die. This is why Porygon's way better than Oranguru. It has the threat that needs to be there on the field, and it's got the bulk. There's a really obvious Protect. I could have just punched the Garchomp at the same time, but I just thought, if he's going to do something, might as well get up the free thing with the Horsey. We're looking at a high horsepower into Coco, but at the same time, Ice Beam and high horsepower gets even Kartana. Horsey's one of the few things that can come out here and stop Gigalith, which is what I really like. If they do have Gastrodon, I can Toxic it if I need to. I've seen some people run Rest on the Mudsdale. I do have a Torkoal, so I'm not too afraid. I'm probably going to fire off a high horsepower, even though it's really obvious. But at the same time, I don't really care. Yeah, I thought he might stay in. There you go. He doesn't really have much of an option to switch out into. We'll pick up that KO. That's fine. What is he going to do? Hit the horsey. Big deal. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, the team was 18-3 last night. You know, and this guy's, it's not like he's bad. Like, I know we're at the beginning of the season. Sure, he took 1 or 2 losses already. But he's running top tier Pokemon. Like, this is not like his team is just all Drifblim and shit, you know? Like, there's just nothing he can really do. There's just nothing he can really do. And that's what you want your Trick Room mode to do. And in order to make sure that Lele doesn't stop you, there are very, very, very few options that are going to help you as much as Mimikyu to do that. Now, there are other options, but at the same time, you're risking them being scarfed and then stopping your options. So, like, let's say you use something crazy, like something fast, like Nilego. Yeah. So, like, let's say it works. Let's say Nilego picks up the Lele. You leave Nilego in your Trick Room Center. You pick up the Lele, then you Trick Room. Now you have Nilego. You don't really want that. You're going to have to switch it out. You're going to risk something in your back. That's bad. Look at all this. Look at the Porygon coverage here. That's 2 things I'm 4 times super affecting, okay? So that's bad. Even then, if they have a Taunter, you can't stop them anymore. Like, Taunt and Lele would immediately just throw down your whole team, right? It would just throw down your whole team. And that's not good. A benefit of 2 things to Mimikyu. Well, the disguise, first of all. You just barely outspeed Lele, which is great. Because there's still a handful of Pokemon in this metagame. I think 14 of them that are actually really seen that are faster than that you can still underspeed. You've also got access to Taunt to stop people from taunting you. Because you can lead both Mimikyu and Porygon. That's completely fine. You have your own Trick Room just in case shit's going wrong. And you've got Shadow Claw for like the one shot on Lele, which is great. Hits Metagross pretty well. And I run Swords Dance on mine instead of, I think he was running, I don't know, it's Trick Room, Taunt, Swords Dance, Shadow Claw. And I use it to set up the Mimikyu and it becomes a threat. It actually starts doing damage and they have to deal with it. And that's the same thing that Hariyama is supposed to do. It is not as effectively, it's not as effective at doing big damage and being a big threat as Hariyama is right off the bat, but at the same time, it's doing the job that it needs to do, especially because Lele into Taunter is really, really bad. It's really bad. And so, for that reason, because you want to lead with this threat and because Lele exists, Mimikyu, I almost, with this core, with the Hariyama Porygon, just like Gavin said, it needs to come. Now then, the rest of the 3 Pokemon are actually kind of up to you. And I think that's when you can start deviating. You can put something fast in there. You know, you can run Torkoal Lilligant on this. And I've seen teams like that are really highly successful. In fact, if, you know, you're not being hard Trick Room, you don't need the Mimikyu. I think Mimikyu is only there to protect your hard Trick Room mode. If you just want to be light Trick Room and have Hariyama Porygon and something slow or 2 things slow, and then make the last 2 something fast or medium speed, that's cool too. That works. He has a Lampet and a Spinda. Okay, we're gonna blow the fuck out of this guy. This guy's just getting blown up. I might let me just show you the Mimikyu. I'll probably end up getting into Trick Room just because my Torkoal's gonna underspeed. I think it underspeeds even Shiinotic. I'm not that sure. We'll find out. Probably won't Harry. Hariyama's just such a threat anyway. And so then you get these last 3, and I think that's when you get to start doing fun stuff. And so I use Mudsdale because of Gigalith. I'm using Torkoal with Nature Power, and that means when I have Bulu, if Bulu's field temperature, if it's grassy, Nature Power is just Energy Ball on Torkoal, which is really neat. I don't need the Sun Up in order to Solar Beam. A lot of people like switch in Rain, but it's grassy, so I just get them with the move anyway, which is awesome. Bulu can obviously sometimes, if you're gonna get Spored, you could send that in. I know I don't have Electric Terrain for that. But then you got the Eruption damage, which is huge. Mudsdale and Torkoal together cover a lot of things, and Bulu kind of covers the last remaining thing. I used to have Spider on this team, but it ended up just being more Gigalith bait. And so there's that. You could run Gigalith here if you wanted to. The last 3 are really, really up to you. I'm gonna try to taunt it. And honestly, having a taunt user on your team that's got some speed in it, it's not bad at all. Especially against other hard Trick Room teams, having that one fast option, especially when it can set up, taunt them, set up, become a threat. It's really nice. It's honestly really nice. So It's not a flawless team, and I'm going to continue working on it. But as far as Trick Room goes, that is not Gavin's. And at the same time, Gavin's no longer running it because of that Gigalith. Because there's so much Gigalith. He needs to edit it, and that's what he said at our meeting when we met with him. And I think that gave me a lot of insight as far as to what I wanted to build with. This is going to be a joke, so like I'm not even going to count this. But I'm going to use it to sap strength. I don't even know what that does. I'm going to just use this as an opportunity to like... I guess talk more about my findings, because I did test a lot with the other one and I was losing to dumb shit and like shit I shouldn't have been losing to, but at the same time I just couldn't do anything. I just couldn't do anything about it, and it was really rough. And I was just like, it was like, oh, this should be fine, and then like you get flinched one time and they just have like a one roar and you're not ready for it, and it's just gonna dismantle your team. And I was like, oh, Ranguru, let's try it. And then half the time it's just dead weight. It's just not, it's not Porygon. Porygon's bulkier and it's just got better move coverage, and it's got the healing ability, so you can heal up before Trick Room's about to end when they double protect to stall at the last turn of Trick Room, and then Trick Room again, and it's God. It's just so good. Even he's gonna Trick Room. So there's another Trick Roomer in this format, Spinda. I don't recommend it, but it exists. So now we're in Trick Room. Let me go send in my slowest thing ever. And you saw, I Swords Danced, right? Now I'm a threat. And that's brilliant. That's honestly awesome. Hopefully he doesn't put me to fucking sleep. No, he's taunted. Never mind. Haha, yeah. And so the last thing, I think the last two you can go with whatever you want. Sure, there's stuff like Trevenant, but Gavin had his own thoughts on that, and you guys heard it, right? Not a big fan. He thought a couple certain Pokemon we hadn't seen before were interesting choices that you could look at, and I would go and take a look at those if you wanted to. I do think Mudsdale, Torkoal, and Bulu have been a lot of fun for me. I'm using the Poison Resist Berry on Bulu because all these Guard Chomp are like, oh, and they'll try to get off an attack on you, and you take like 30%, maybe less, and you just wood hammer the shit out of them, and it's awesome. So I love that. Torkoal's the slowest thing, I think, basically in the format. There might be like one rogue Pokemon. I'm not sure how fast Shiinotic is. It might even be faster though, but it's shit. It's 4 HP Mimikyu. Like, I'm just not afraid of it, There will Shadow Claw here before his trick or his taunt ends. Perfect. I do have Z-move on Torkoal, and that gives me a single hit move. I'm running Eruption Heat Wave. I don't know if that's optimal, but the Z-move gives me that single target that I've used a lot, and honestly, it's able to pick up 4 HP Marowak. So if you see 4 HP Marowak, that's pretty neat. I don't really know what that's going to do. I will just Eruption here. I should be slow enough, and I could let this go down. It doesn't really matter. Like, this doesn't really matter to me. I'll Shadow Claw here just in case he's targeting my Torkoal because he thinks it's a threat. He wants to weaken it. He's not going to Heat Wave. He probably will Heat Wave. I'm probably going to lose Mimikyu, but at the same time, I'm not afraid. We have this Torkoal. We have the Z-move still. So those are my 2 Z-move users on the field. And Mimikyu Z-move basically comes out in like dire situations or if I'm trying to one-shot Lele. But a lot of people switch out Lele when they see the Mimikyu, and that's cool with me too because I can just use it to Swords Dance that turn or Trick Room or whatever. And the disguise is really powerful too. So Spin is going to protect. That's neat. Oh, that's so adorable. It's so cute. There's a lot of slow stuff out there that you can toy around with. You just want to make sure you're doing big damage. Oh my god, it has Flash Fire. What the fuck? It's a good thing we stayed in just to hit this instead of him going for That's neat. Lampent, huh? But there's the Swords Dance coming. Clutch. Swag. Wouldn't have killed without the Swords Dance. I don't know. I definitely like the Trick Room mode, and it's actually a lot of fun. And I was able to stream, and I honestly did not pay attention to the majority of the matches I was playing, and we were still picking up wins just because it's so, like, the mode itself is so flat. There's not a whole lot I have to do. I just gotta make sure I don't run out of Trick Room turns, but I can look at it like this, and that's fine. You probably should Sucker Punch me. You gonna Sucker Punch me? Yeah, his Hariyama probably doesn't have Protect, so he's probably going to fake out Torkoal and then kill my Mimikyu, but I want that to happen, because then I'll fake him out in Eruption, the Hariyama. I actually might not even kill, it's just a goddamn Spinda. Yeah. Here's a nice boom. Yeah, he's going to take the burn. Yeah. Probably Russian. It's probably strong enough. I don't really know. I mean, I could Z-move the Hariyama just in case. Yeah, I'll Z-move it, because if he protects, he's still going to die. Or he'll basically be dead. I'll throw up a taunt on the Spinda. I don't think Spinda can hit me anyway. Nope. And that was in case he, like, sucker punched the Torkoal and put it out of eruption range somehow. It doesn't really matter. So I like the Z-move there. A lot of people try to knock off Torkoal because they all expect Charcoal. Charcoal gives you the 2-shot with full power eruption in the sun against Marowak. So Oranguru, Torkoal will be Charcoal for that. That's one big reason. You barely guarantee the 252 HP pickup. And so it's pretty neat though. Even if they have 4 special defense. 252 HP, 4 special defense, you do 50.2% minimum up to 60%. So it's a great way, and that's spread. That's a great way to just clear Marowak. And on this team, you can clear Marowak with like Mudsdale. The Z move on Torkoal, like I said, does like a good 80-90%, if not 100. You got Hariyama with knockoff. I can get it with the Mimikyu if I need to. So, cool ways. Just if you do want to run something like this, just make sure you go and take your time and go find Pokemon and make sure that they cover the big threats that are out there as far as anti-Trick Room. And that's going to be Spider, Araquanid. It's going to be Gigalith. It's going to be other Hariyama because you're probably going to be using Porygon. And you'll run into an occasional Mudsdale. Okay? And clearly other people who run Porygon 2 to reverse your Trick Room. So if you want to run Roar on your Mudsdale, I think that's super neat. And I think I would do that instead of Toxic maybe. But I've been using Toxic and it's cool. I think that last slot Mudsdale can really be anything. So that's what, at least as far as Trick Room goes, I went through the hard way, and I really, really decided that those 3 together are really one of the most consistent ways of getting it up, and then becoming a threat while it's up, and that's a big deal because if you're not a threat while it's up, it's gonna be a bad day. Okay, so I usually go something like Porygon Mimikyu in this situation. I definitely want to bring Torkoal. And then I'm going to round it out with Mudsdale, I think. Yeah, because Mudsdale's Heavy Slam is going to pick up Lele as well. And I won a one-on-one with Mudsdale versus Lele. It was actually a 2-on-1, but I got to move first the first turn. Well, I got to... No, what happened? No, it was basically a one-on-one as Trick Room ended, and then he wasn't able to kill me with his Life Orb Psychic in Psychic Terrain. And I just tanked it, and I was like, yeah! Mudsdale's got enough attack to 2-shot Gigalith, 2-shot Mach. No. 1-shot Mach. 1-shot Mach. It's just 212 Adamant, I believe. So that spread's pretty neat. Torkoal for me is super just plain. I got the special attack boost. That's fat. So here's what I'm going to do. Trick Room. I could just throw up a Thunder Wave on Kartana, but I'm not going to. And I'm going to Z right here. It's just for safety. It really is just for safety. The one thing is if there's Scarf Lele, in a best of 3 you'll know that and you'll be able to play around it. In a best of 1 you can't tell right now. So it's not going to be Scarfed. And this is why you run the Mimikyu. And I'm going to show you right now. And in fact, when I went 18-3, my Mimikyu had 0 EV or IVs in speed. So I was going slower than Lele, which was just goddamn awful. I didn't mean to, but that's what was happening. So, and this is legitimately the reason, because if I let Hariyama here, what do? I just lose Hariyama right off the bat. I make a switch. He's free to double into the Porygon if he wants to, or he's free to just pick up a Hariyama KO right off the bat. And you can still win, but it's just so much cleaner to like... Because even now, if Mimikyu goes down, that's fine with me. It did its job. Lele's a huge threat in general, so let's just get rid of it. Here's my Trick Room. I have the special attack boost. I do like download on hard Trick Room because if you get the boost, you become so much more of a threat. That actually has won me a couple games. I'm just throwing out too much damage. So I've really liked that. I'm not going to switch into the Gigalith. Well, I could. Yeah, I probably should get the +1. I will throw up an Ice Beam here. He'll have the Z move. I'm going to... do you think he Leaf Blades? No, he probably uses the Steel one into Mudsdale here, huh? Do I risk it? Because if I'm him, actually, I ignore the Mimikyu. It probably feels like it can't do anything. Which I could double into Kartana then. That's what I'm gonna do. If Kartana protects, that's just a good move. There's the Z. Preferably he kills my Mimikyu, but if he hits the Porygon, it does like 50%. And now he's wasted his Z move, and that's cool with me too. Because Kartana should probably die to this. My city, my city, my city. My city, my city, my city. Oh god, that was even less than 50. That was like 25%. I'm max defense bold, the same way Gavin's was. There you go. Boom. Easy money. I still have the Mudsdale. Right? Yeah. In a best of 3, if you're that afraid of Kartana, you know, maybe you bring Hariyama instead. It can still punch Kartana, that's fine. Maybe you don't bring Torkoal. But, yeah, we've seen the Z move, so that's probably Assault Vest. We're gonna recover. Plenty. I'm really just trying to get myself killed here. I might Swords Dance. No, you know what? I think Shadow Claw will put him within KO range. If he has Assault Vest. Okay, Mimikyu's gonna go down, thank God. Let's just get rid of this thing. It's about time. It's definitely about time. I didn't want it on the field after it killed Lele, but like, he just left it in. This will be fine. Let me think. What do I want to switch into? I'll probably go into I can Psychic. Would that be worth it? No, I'll go into Mudsdale. And so bringing the Torkoal was complete over-exaggeration on what he ended up bringing, and that's just a team preview issue, though, so, you know, it's fine. Hariyama, obviously, here would be amazing. But this should do damage. This should do damage. Let's just get rid of this Garchomp. I don't know if it's, you know, if it's Focus Sash, because don't forget we didn't hit Kartana down to Focus Sash. I don't know if it's Assault Vest. It might be. But we're +1. Don't forget we got that +1 boost. Pretty decent damage. He's going to Earthquake himself here. That's kind of desperate. He might be Z-moving, and he might be the Z... No, did he already Z-move? He already Z-moved. It's not the Z-move. I think I could see that play working if you're Z-move still. But even if that was Assault Vest, it was going to die to this +1. It's 4 times weak. Yeah. Now I got Stamina. I'm going to get some H-Pizzle back. Love me some H-Pizzle. Yum, 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 yum. I'm ground type, so I don't take the sand. It's just, you can't kill the Mudsdale. That's a 2-shot on the Gigalith. It's just too big. I'll probably recover here. He can't be weakness policy, so no reason to just Toxic and wait it out. But he'll probably forfeit. Womp womp. Look at that damage. Holy shit. I think against like max HP, I'm still like a 2-shot, so it doesn't really matter. And then it just, you bulk up every turn. It's super cool. It's a super cool mod, as long as you don't miss high horsepower. So, since Gigalith is like the big stop to Trick Room, I like having at least a handful of options against it. And if Trick Room ends, obviously Bulu's another option there. Heavy Slam, I should be able to survive 1. I am max HP. Let me think. Yeah, I should be able to survive 1. So that's also another option. But there you go. I'll be posting this team soon, and I'm going to still be editing it. Just because it needs to be edited, I think. Because I've only, you know, I've played 20, 30 games or so with it. And it's been doing pretty well. And hopefully it'll continue to do well. But, like, I don't know. I didn't have to focus basically on any of these matches. And that's just because that's how Trick Room works sometimes. If it's a good team, you can just kind of roll through stuff. Maybe you make a prediction or two, but that's all. That's the most you got to worry about. Womp, womp, womp. And also Porygon just kind of tanks everything. Dang. Good stuff. So, I'll leave it off there. I can't believe it reset. These should have been all 1800 games, right? But I guess that's life. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you soon. And hopefully you guys are going to like the team. Okay? Talk to you later. Peace.